So, Richmond, it's a busy time of year for a director of football. This, isn't it? January's just mad, isn't it?
Yeah, real busy time, but it's all good challenges. We're in a good place with where we are at the moment. So yeah, we're happy. We've got a few things spinning as we always do, and we do a lot of work before the window starts anyway. So busy, but nothing that we haven't prepared for.
You've been looking for firepower. You brought two of them in now. Let's talk about Giovanni first. When did he hit your radar?
Giovanni was a player we watched last season extensively. We were keen to bring him in the summer. It didn't quite fall into place. So he's a player we've done a lot of research on. We've watched him sort of 18 months, and when the chance became available to bring him in, he was number one on the list in terms of the number 10/attacking midfielders we wanted to bring in. So we're delighted to get him into the club.
A player like that, you don't forget. Then you don't just you keep trying to watch him whenever you can.
Yeah, and it's been tough because he's sort of dropped out the team at Colchester, but he does things that our fans will appreciate. He's a technically gifted footballer. He gets into the pockets and has a few similarities to his namesake Reece Brown from last season. So I think it's a good one for the club to bring in.
And what about young Josh then?
Again, Josh is a player that we've done a lot of work on. He's got a very good goal scoring record this year. We've watched him sort of 6-7 occasions, as has been publicised by other outlets. So we've done a homework on him. He's got a really good pedigree. He scored goals where he's been coming up through the leagues, and in terms of his personality, he's our sort of type of player. He's very humble. He's had other jobs and he's worked in a factory, and he's keen to be stepping into full-time football. So he fits our profile as a person as well as a footballer.
Alchurch and Southern League Premier, then on to Leamington in the National League
Yep.
North. It's still a big step up, league football.
It's a massive step up, but where Mark says the phrase broken toys, which is something we refer to, and these lads have come up and earned the stripes at the difficult levels of football, and they're the ones we want to give the opportunities to. We can go and do what other teams do and recycle the same League Two players, but finances dictate, and we want to be the club that gives people opportunities and sort of helps them to develop and helps the club to develop with them as well.
I mean, an exciting goal scoring record. If you look at what he's got for Leamington this year, since he signed for them in May, at 23 and 27, I think.
Yeah, he's just a good natural goal scorer. When I've seen him, he finds the net. He's had goals disallowed when I've seen him. He can take penalties. He's a confident young man, which is a real good asset to have as a footballer, and he backs his ability, and he backs himself to come in and do well.
How do you prepare a footballer for the league here? You know, he's come from certainly 2 rungs down here. Is there anything you do as a football club to really help bed him in here?
We try and take all the uncontrollables out of the way, so we'll move into some accommodation with us straight away with another player to help show him the ropes and sort of ease that transition. But there'll be myself, James Mooney will be available at request to help them with the little bits that they might not have anticipated before, and all the staff will sort of bed them in terms of a training programme. So it's something that we've done before with the other boys we've taken, sort of Junior Mondal, Udoka. They've come from a similar background, so we know how to transition them in, and Mark works excellently with them and gives them the opportunities to go and do the talking on the pitch as well.
Fought off a bit of competition to get him?
Yeah, a bit of a stressful one really for all parties. We were desperate to get him in, and we'd done our work all the way through. So then when we got to a point where we could make it happen, we tried to do so, and in doing that sort of shook a few other clubs out of the woodwork, sort of ranging League Two, League One, and even some Championship interest. So we were delighted that when we take these players, they choose to come and continue their development with us, so that's really key, and it tells us a lot about the boys as well.
You hinted your business isn't done yet.
We're always looking. There's a few things, obviously there's a few players gone out the door, so Jojo Woolacott and James Morton have both gone back to Bristol City. Both had good first loans with us in the league, and both made good contributions. Kyle Taylor returning to Bournemouth, so we know we need to freshen up with a few new faces, and it's something myself and the gaffer are working hard on to do, and make sure that the players we bring in are right for the football club.
Is that this purely the thinking, just freshening it up, then sending them back and starting again here, not being able necessarily to offer them the time they might have wanted?
Yeah, I think if you've stripped both the loans back for James and Jojo, they came in, first experience of league football, got good game time, got good records with us, and Bristol City have seen fit to call them both back, which is understandable. They're their players, and we have these opportunities to sort of amend the deals at this point, and they've decided to call them both back. And with Carl Taylor, who came in the team, it was again first loan for him, first real experience. showed flashes of good ability, and he'll be better for going back. But January gives us the opportunity to bring in a couple of new lads, bring a bit of vibe into the group, and hopefully give us that extra little kick that we need in the second half of the season.
And always mindful that other clubs might have their eye on your players as well at this time of year.
It's something we can't rule out, but we're in a good position contractually with a lot of the boys, and the boys are happy. They're enjoying playing football. We're going quite well, but if something comes in, it's a discussion point, but there's nothing that we're expecting at the moment.
And just finally, this stage of the season now, we're looking, at the final stretch now. We've gone through Christmas and New Year, and your role here is about sort of positioning that squad and refreshing that squad to have a real tilt at what you really want, which is League One football.
Yeah, and it's something we strive to do. People may have the misconception that we just wake up on January the 1st and think, well, it's time for recruitment, but we're planning, we're scouting, we're doing all the work leading into the window, so that when it becomes the option where we can become active again, we've got all the information behind us and we can go and make good informed decisions. And we've got lists of players for all sort of circumstances and different variations, so we're in a good position, and when the right things come up, we'll be looking to strike.
And that forward planning, even further forward, is a bit difficult for you, because even now you're thinking 6-12 months ahead, I guess, but you need to know what league you're going to be in.
Yeah, but that's a lovely problem to have, and one we want to have as a football club this year, that we want to be working across a couple of different remits. So it's not a problem, it's just a challenge, and it's one that we're happy to have, and it's good for the football club that we're having to think like that.